Okay, so now that we know how to find the evidence to support a question, now we need to figure out how to be able to write it. And this is what I'll talk about when you start embedding your evidence into paragraphs and into writing. You have to use a sentence starter. So a sentence starter is something that leads your evidence. It's like your introduction piece to your evidence. So for example, according to the text, the author stated, based on what I read, on page blank it said, in the paragraph blank it said, from the reading I know that, when the text said blank I inferred, after I read I concluded that, I think blank because blank, and I know this because, okay? The two that I'm going to require you to use the most are going to be these first two. According to the text and the author stated. Okay, these are probably the two most important ones, so make sure you pay attention to this. The rest of these ones have the word I in them, and I don't like using the pronoun I when we're talking about writing information, okay? Because it's not about you, it's actually just about that information, okay? So pay attention to these two right here, according to the text and the author stated. Those are going to begin your textual evidence. And here they are again, just give you an idea. So when teachers refer to complete sentences when you're providing textual evidence, this is a list of ways to use it, to embed it into that paragraph. It shows when the answer is stated directly in the text. So going back to our complete sentence that we had before, the first one, when is National Ice Cream Day? We know the answer is the third Sunday in July. So you need to say, with your sentence starter first, the author stated that National Ice Cream Day is the third Sunday in July. Or, according to the text, here's your sentence starter, National Ice Cream Day is the third Sunday in July. There's a bunch of ways to do it, but like I said, these are probably the two ways I will ask you to do it the most. So going back to the same thing we had before, you're naming two animals that found on the Mexican flag. Here's the way to write your textual evidence. According to the text, the eagle and the serpent are found on the Mexican flag. In the second sentence, the author stated that the eagle and the serpent are found on the Mexican flag. So those are two different ways using two different sentence starters. So make sure you embed that evidence in there. In the text, it states that timber refers to trees that are grown to cut for wood. Okay, these are things that we found from our text. Identify two items that are made with timber, house and paper. Based on what I read, I know that houses and paper are made with timber. There's your sentence starter, okay? So you just want to take that sentence starter and rewrite the evidence that you found. However, if you are rewriting it word from word, you have to put quotation marks around it, and that will make sure you do not plagiarize. Sometimes it's not stated clearly. Sometimes you have to infer or imply what's actually happening. So let's look at some passages that are not directly stated in the text. We looked at this yesterday about Yesenia on one of your assignments. So how was Yesenia feeling at the beginning of the story? Well, it was difficult to breathe, her heart was pounding, so we knew she was nervous. We also knew at the end of the story, she finally finished, she sank into her chair, she probably felt relieved. So to write this, you need to use your sentence starters. And you should say, when the text said she was having difficulty to breathe and her heart was pounding, I inferred that Yesenia was feeling nervous. Here's your sentence starter. When the text said, I inferred, because it wasn't telling you Yesenia was nervous, you had to infer that from your evidence. Or I think Yesenia was feeling relieved at the end of the story because she thought to herself, whew, I survived. Notice, this is a direct quote and it's in quotation marks, okay? So I think, because are our sentence starters. Here we go. Same thing you looked at yesterday. What grade is Danica in? She's in 4th grade. We know that from our evidence here. When did Danica school year begin? In August. So to write that with our sentence starter, we need to say, I know Danica is in 4th grade because she mentioned how school was different last year and when she was in 3rd grade. There's your sentence starter, I know, and your evidence. That is just the beginning piece to textual evidence, writing it in a sentence, your sentence starter. Now I'm going to show you how to do that using quotation marks.